Hello, everyone. This is Mohammed. For this podcast, I'm going to try to keep it short because I actually recorded this earlier today. It came out to almost 29 minutes and some seconds. Um, and if you don't know, Anchor, which is what I publish all my podcasts on, has a 30-minute limit when it comes to the web browser. So I told this story already, and my laptop froze. I'm actually trying to get it replaced because I have a little bit of I don't want to say trauma, but I have a lot of negative memories with my laptops or devices failing on me in very crucial times. Not that the podcast is crucial, but I don't want it failing um, if I'm doing something more important, and it's been freezing on me a little bit more lately. So I'm going to try to keep the story short. This is going to be about a time I was having conflict in the workplace, and this is early in my career when I was kind of little bit green, didn't really know how to address it or how to deal with it. I wasn't even quite aware that a conflict was happening until it sort of reached this melting point. So I'll just dive right in. This was in I think this was in the second job I had. So I was working in the Boston area, and I was working for a company that dealt primarily in, I guess, consumer goods. Um, I worked in I worked in IT, and there was this IT product manager. Um, Her name was, what was her name? I think it was Jennifer. I remember it was like an easy name to remember, and then as a result, all I remember when I think about it is that it was a generic name. And of course, the name is made up. I just found a name that was sort of in the similar space. Um, yeah, her name was Jennifer. She was an IT product manager, and I was in management myself, but I was working on other things where we sort of cross paths time to time. And when I was onboarded at this company, I was meeting everyone, and she, was one of my peers, um, in a different department, but we're working on projects where we kind of share ownership. And I thought we hit it off, right? There was very positive energy. We would tell jokes. We were getting along, and I'm very new to this company. I'm new to this market, this industry. Everything is new to me. So I'm just, trying to soak up as much information. I'm going through the training and all these things, doing just whatever is expected of me, I'm doing. Um, Sometime a few months in, I had my boss randomly come to me and um, he kind of just mentioned to me that I should be a little bit more proactive when it comes to sharing communications with Jennifer. So I was a little confused because, um, you know, I I told my boss, I was like, hey, what exactly have you heard? Because I said we're managing certain projects together, right? One of them had to do with kind of leveraging customer data and um, using that to drive presentation in some of our stores. So they were just trying to see, what is trending, what is, popular with customers in different markets, what is less popular, and, how can they ensure that they have the right inventory and that they're promoting the right, items or brands that are market specific. So we're working on these projects together, but we're equals. And when my boss told me, hey, make sure she gets timely updates, I was confused. So I asked for some more information. And he basically told me, he's like, yeah, so Jennifer has given me some impression that you know, that you don't include her in meetings. So he said, anytime you get an invite to a meeting, where you're getting updates, he's like, please make sure she's copied on all communications. She's invited to all the meetings. And if you go to a meeting and she's not able to make it, it's your job to make sure that you send her some sort of memo, some sort of summary of the meeting, so that she's up to date, right? Whatever she should know because both of you are working together. You're managing this together. And I said, okay. I'm thinking this is harmless enough. There's just some miscommunication because uh, at the time, I think there was maybe one meeting where one of the contractors actually that we had forgot to add her to the list because I went through my laptop, I went to the email, And I was like, there's no way she wasn't invited. I said, I always remember, her name is on almost every email. So I go through my emails, I see that she wasn't mentioned. I said, okay, so this is kind of what caused this issue. She wasn't invited to this one meeting, but that really wasn't, that wasn't my fault. That wasn't my oversight. But I'll just let the contractor know to include her on future communications. So when we get updates, they give us the Excel sheets and they show us what's been worked on, what needs to be worked on, where we stand. I'll make sure that, she is being updated and whatever I know, she knows. I thought it was a quick Band-Aid fix. I didn't really think anything of it. And a few weeks later, after my boss had spoken to me, I kind of checked in with her where, we hopped on a call and we were on the call a few minutes early. So I was like, hey, Jennifer, so just so you know, Morristown talked to me and he told me, that like you felt like I was deliberately cutting you out or something like that. I said, I just wanted to make it very clear that that was, sort of a mistake on the contractor's fault, on the contractor's end. And, I made sure that he understands to copy in all the communications. And likewise, I appreciate that you brought this up. But I said, just so you know, in the future, if you have that kind of concern, I said, just please let me know. Because, and there was no undertone. There was no me being passive aggressive. There was no double speak. I was just being earnest. I was just letting her know, like, you can come to me and I could have corrected that faster. There's no need to involve, Morristown, our boss. Again, fake name. So she was very agreeable. She's like, yeah, no, totally. It's just like, it's just a case of like cross wires or all these things. And she just makes it seem like, basically she was just like, yeah, because I don't know you, I wasn't sure how you would take it. So she's like, that's why I felt like I should go to him and he can talk to you, because when one peer kind of criticizes or corrects another, it could be explosive. It could be, problematic. She's like, I just didn't want any drama. And I'm just seeing things at face value, right? She gives me this great excuse. I eat it up. I said, there's no issue here. We're on the same page. She just missed one meeting. She thought, she was worried maybe it's a pattern. Maybe she's being cut out or something. And, she thinks I'm doing it on purpose, or she was concerned. She goes to the boss so he can tell me, which I think is really mature of her and just really, really just little naive. So, we just cleared the air as far as I'm aware. And then, people hop on the call and we stop chit chatting and kind of focus on, the business. And then like within a week, Morristown calls me and he says, hey, Mohammed, I need to know like what the heck you said to Jennifer, because she came to me and she said that you basically like, you put her on notice, or like you were letting her know that you're aware that she, complained to me, and you told her that if she has a problem with you, she can talk to you directly. And my boss kind of talked to me the way I'm conveying the information. He kind of talked like when he was echoing my words, he was adding some sort of attitude to it. Like, you told her like she can talk to you like directly. I was like, whoa, no. I said she can talk to me directly. There was no attitude. I was like, you're saying it with the sort of attitude like you can talk to me. No, I said, no, I didn't. I wasn't being like aggressive. I wasn't being antagonistic. I said the way it came across, maybe it was my fault, but I said, yeah, I didn't, I wasn't trying to let her know that, oh, I'm aware, or I have an eye on her, or something like that. I said, this is just a lot of miscommunication. And I said, I'm starting to get concerned, because I said, this is the second time we're having a conversation. And I do not want this to be a pattern where, a coworker is just complaining about me left and right. Because at a certain point, you're not going to see that I'm sort of just innocent here, and I really don't know what's happening. So Morristown, he just conveys the information, and I can tell he's kind of just absorbing what I'm saying to him, because I let him know that like this happened on a call, and I think the call is recorded. And I said, I urge you to see if we can look into this, because I'm starting to get concerned where I am supposed to be working with this coworker, and twice now, there's been serious misunderstandings where she's come to you to complain about me. And I said, this is too much. Like, I can't work with her anymore, because I said every time we talk, she's picking up some hostile energy that really does not exist. So, he said, you know what, this is becoming a headache for me as well. So he said, I'll just, I'll separate you guys. He's like, I'll allow her to kind of keep driving the project just because she was already on it before you came and joined. And he said, I'll put you onto something else. This actually ended up working in my favor because he puts me onto a project um, that was a lot more important. There was actually someone, not the CIO, but someone from the CIO's office was involved in this project. So, I'm reporting directly to the OCIO, the office of the CIO. There's deputy CIOs, deputy executives on the call, all sorts of high level stakeholders, and I'm happy. I'm happy because I was in a very tough situation that I really couldn't really understand, and then I got put onto this cool project as a result. So I'm very grateful to my boss for kind of being a little bit sympathetic to me, and I think he really, even though it was only my second job, it's not that I have this sort of history that I've worked at many companies and I have a lot of success. He took a chance on me, and when someone's only worked at one company, you actually, you never really know what you're getting. So I appreciate that he took a chance on me and he actually gave me a better opportunity. And life goes on, months go by. I don't even interact with her just because I'm scared of saying hello, and then she goes to him and goes like, yeah, Muhammad was saying hey, or something aggressive. Like I saw the way she perceives things, and I said I don't want to deal with that. So a few months go by, and I'm just working on this really high visibility project. I was really excited just because this is the kind of project that can make your career. However, I was told if I failed, this is something that this is the sort of failure that will follow you. This is the sort of failure that could result in my termination, which gave me a little bit of that adrenaline boost because I was young, I was hungry, and I was excited because I said if I fail, I'll probably get fired. But if I succeed, this will be really exciting to talk about in my, in my future job interviews. And I actually use that example. I mean, this was almost, I guess, 10 years ago. And I actually still, oh no, it was over 10 years ago, almost 12 years ago. And I actually still use this project time to time, as proof of concept, right? As proof of what I can do, particularly when dealing with clients who operate in the same space. So I work on this project. I'm minding my own business. I'm reporting to Morristown, but I'm really just avoiding, anyone from the product team because I have no reason to engage with them, and I don't want any more negative engagements because I'm a little spooked that my first 2-3 months I already have two informal conversations with my boss. Right, nothing was documented necessarily, but again, an informal conversation with your boss with heavy topics like this, those can be problematic. So I'm halfway through the year, and I started getting requests for meetings from Jennifer, and she sends me like invites and stuff like this. And seeing as she's not on my project, I'm not associated with any of her projects, I just kind of ignore these requests. But eventually, she actually CCs my boss and then sends me a request for like a meeting. And I wasn't really, I didn't know what was happening. So I called my boss. I said, hey, how come she's been trying to, set up a conference call for 2 weeks? He said, yeah. So she finished up her project. It didn't make, quite the splash she was intending because he said towards the end, a lot of resources she was borrowing for the project kind of got redistributed. Right. So there were some senior employees that she was using to close out the project, and then they kind of left. And then now she ended up having to extend the timeline a little bit because she got some of the lesser experienced employees, and they took a little bit longer to kind of tie everything up. And as a result, he said because she didn't really deliver on time, I guess she's feeling a little self-conscious, and she wants like some sort of small win. So he's like, she told me she was interested in your project. I told her that she should reach out to you. And I told him, I said, look, she had, and he said, I told Jennifer to reach out to you. And he said, I'm also hearing from her that like, you're not being receptive or cooperative. He's like, can I ask why? He said, you're not obligated to put her on the project, by the way. He said, this comes from the top. So he said, I'm not going to touch it. I don't want to mess with the formula. I don't want to mess with your team because so far you're doing okay. So I told him, I said, yeah, no. I said, again, there's some miscommunication happening here. I said, she is sending me empty requests for like a conference call. I said, there's no context. There's no request. There's no, hey, how are you? Hey, this is what I'm up to. Hey, I just finished this project. I said, everything you've told me, she should have told me herself. And I said, I don't really appreciate that now she's CCing you on emails. Because I said, that's frustrating to me, right? That's frustrating to me because now it's giving you the impression and more negative impressions of me that there's some issue between us, and I don't like that, right? If an employee is, if she's emailing me and she CCs you, it almost makes it seem like, she's trying to get your attention. She wants you to kind of, I guess, monitor our communications or something like that. Or, maybe she's trying to make it seem like I'm not responding, which I'm not, because, um, I don't know what she wants. Looking back, or I'm thinking right now, I think she might have actually, when she CC'd him on that last email, I think then she did put some information about what she wanted to talk about. And that ended up making me look a little bad because he said, "Oh no, I see that she did mention some stuff here in this email." And I'm like, "Of course, on the latest email, she would add some details, but like again, if I'm getting a dozen emails from someone over the course of 2 weeks, and the last one has some information, but the first 11 don't," I said, "I'm not gonna. After a while, I'm just gonna stop reading them. Right? It's just spam." So he asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you want her on this project?" I said, "No, not particularly. I'm really not interested," because I said, this is just, she just keeps giving us this workplace drama. And I said, I reached the point where I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe because every interaction with her actually leaves me sort of at a disadvantage. So I said, I'm going to make it very clear to you. I don't want her anywhere near me. I don't want anything to do with her because I said, I have bigger things to worry about, and an employee who I don't know where I stand with them is just the last thing I need, right? Not to mention I don't really know much about her skill set just because we barely interacted, and the team I have, there's a lot of trust here. There's a lot of open collaboration happening. I don't need someone who kind of operates in a silo because I never got a chance to know her, and I said I'm really just not interested in seeing what she can add to the team. So this is halfway through the year. Some more time goes by. Time to time, she would send me an email, and I would just delete them because I wasn't really interested. Um, and then towards the end, I start interviewing other companies. I get a better opportunity, and I give my boss a 1 month, or I think it was like a 5 weeks heads up that, hey, I'm leaving. I got a better opportunity. I don't know what changed, what happened, what was in the air, but once I put in my notice, Jennifer started being extremely polite, very communicative. She asked me about my next opportunity. Obviously, I lied to her because I'm not going to tell her where I'm going. And then she starts telling me, her life story. And I saw, this is what was very fascinating to me. So before she was an IT product manager, she was actually a lawyer. She was a lawyer. She was from, the DC area. She went to one of the fancy schools named after someone. And yeah, so she worked as a lawyer. I should mention that, I mean, this woman is actually almost twice my age. I think she was around 40, and I'm in my 20s. So not twice my age, but like a decade plus older than me, right? This is someone who should be more mature than me. And yeah, she just gives me all this background info that I don't care about. Yeah, so she talks about how she was a lawyer. She was a property lawyer, intellectual property lawyer, something to do with property. I remember she was something to do with that. And she actually came and started working for this company in Boston. She started working for them as a lawyer, and then for whatever reason, I guess she got the bug. She got bit by the bug for IT, and she got some training and ended up being a product manager. And I guess she thinks some of the skills from being a lawyer are helping her. But this whole office politics, this double hand way of speaking, where you're nice to someone to their face, and then behind their back, you're, I don't know, causing trouble for them. Yeah, she thought she was really, I guess she thought she was very savvy, very smart. She thought she was really thriving there. And in my head, I'm like, I think maybe people are enabling her, or they're just ignoring her, avoiding her. But I don't think she is as loved or successful here as she thinks. It's very telling to me that when we were put on the project initially, she was in the middle of the project. I came in to kind of reinforce, or I guess compliment her. And I did not find a lot of, I noticed there weren't a lot of people who were willing to help out. Like there was a reason that our internal resources were always looking to kind of leave our project, and we relied on some contractors. Or if we did get resources, they were usually sort of the new hires, the less experienced people who can't really say no. It just seems like her entire way of interacting, her way of conduct was just it was very unpleasant, and it's something that kind of it's something I was wary of in the future for some time after that job. I always made sure that whenever I was interacting with my coworkers, anyone in the workplace, I always try to look out for this. Anyone who's two-faced, anyone who's playing these mind games, being passive aggressive, people who are nice to my face, and then I find out behind my back they're maybe spreading some misinformation or something. That definitely put my guard up for a while, but over time I kind of relaxed and mellowed out, and I've gotten a little bit better at spotting people like this. But it's always a problem, because I think every workplace has some snake, some person who just kind of instigates things, or tries to play the field, cause trouble, be the boss's pet, all this headache. But with that said, I have reached 21 minutes in the recording. I actually told this whole story earlier in my Pixelbook, my Chromebook. This thing, it froze. And not that this is entirely interesting to anyone, but this is my third Chromebook that's failed in the last couple of years. I don't know if perhaps I'm not taking care of them properly, but I've had a few of them die on me in recent years, and that's why when this one was freezing today and I ended up losing the initial recording, I got a little stressed, because it's not nice when your laptop dies on you. This is a little bit of a fun fact, or not fun fact. It's not fun for anyone, but years ago in the beginning of COVID, I actually recorded like entire, maybe like 50 videos for YouTube. And what ended up happening was I sent it to some people to, I sent the content to some people to edit and produce and what have you. And then because of some technical problems, all the data ended up being deleted. So that was like 2019, 2020. Then I tried again last spring in 2021. And this time I stored everything on my computer, and I did not, instead of sending it to people to produce, I had all the videos on my own laptop. And what ended up happening was I got some logic board or motherboard, whatever it's called, some sort of problem where the laptop just entirely bricked. It just died. And I took it to the Best Buy, Easy Tech, or Geek Squad, I think they're called, not Easy Tech. Easy Tech is some other store. So I took it to various stores for repairs, and they were all like, "Yeah, we can't fix this laptop. Like it's definitely fried." So today, when my laptop froze on me, and it's not common, my immediate thought was, "Oh my God, I'm going to lose yet." This is another attempt at recording content, and it's going to be gone. That's why I actually switched to podcasting, because because the two first attempts at videos failed, and I recorded a lot of videos. Like the first time I recorded 50, the second time I recorded around 30. But the idea was that, I would just like, these videos are long. They were like an hour long. So a lot of content. So this time I was like, let me do podcasting for a while, just because it's sort of a low investment on my end. It's a little bit easier to do. I can kind of do other things while I'm talking. And likewise, podcasts are a little bit lighter storage wise, and I'm currently storing everything on my own storage, rather than having videos where you can't really put them online because they're massive, and that's just its own headache. But yeah, this is my third attempt at trying to share my experiences and provide advice, and hopefully this will be the last time I have a close encounter where my technology fails me and I end up losing my content, because it's never a nice feeling. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I will stop it here.